Hello, everybody, and thank you for getting through day 2 of our Red Cloud Pre-PDAC mining showcase. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Rob Christl, who's the VP of Business Development and Investor Relations at one of my favorite undervalued stories. Sorry for the disclaimer there. Thunderstruck Resources. So I'll pass it over to you, Rob, not to take too much time, and look forward to the questions at the end.
Great. Thank you so much, Seb. Hello, everyone. We'll just quickly go through our deck. Seb's going to be moving the slides for me. Seb, if you could just go to the first slide after the disclaimer. And we'll just talk a little bit about Fiji. Fiji is, most people think of Fiji as as a tourist vacation spot. It is an actual very prominent mining country. There's a particular gold mine that's been in operation for over 80 years on the main island of Fiji, and still has an estimated 7 million ounces of gold. Our properties, as you can see, take up about 3% of the main island. The country has all the infrastructure, deep sea port, hydroelectric dam, paved road around the island, etc. It's one of the most developed economies in the South Pacific, and is a very, very mining friendly country. Next slide. This gives you an idea where Fiji is. You can see Australia, New Zealand, the little red dot, and then just expanded. That's what we call the main island of Fiji. There's about 230 islands makes up the country of Fiji. Many are not inhabited, but this is the main island with has 2 airports and the deep sea port. You can see our updated share structure currently that we have as of March 2nd, as of yesterday. Next slide. Again, just a little bit about history. Here's the Vatakula that I talked about, 8 years. Very skilled workforce. Many people on the island have worked in these mines for a number of years. We ourselves, when we're drilling, employ anywhere from 25 to 40 the people of skilled labor. Our CFO, for example, is also a local Fijian. One of our geos, Prius, is also a local geo from Fiji. So we employ a number of local people in Fiji, and have a really strong local team. Next slide, please. Here's a very good snapshot of this main island. You can see our properties. The 4 properties are Korukayu, which is a joint venture with Jogmec. This is a copper zinc VMS property. It does have a bit of gold and silver in it as well. We have the Liwa, which is one of our flagship properties. This is a 100% Thunderstruck property. It's a gold silver property, and we had starting a drill program late 2020, and we'll be continuing that in 2021 in the dry season. There is a cyclone rainy season in Fiji that runs from about December to April. And we had started our program in December because we were late getting in the country with COVID, etc. And we did start a hole on Liwa, got about 60, 70 meters completed. That core is sitting in boxes, and the drill in the jungle at the location. And we're just anticipating getting back there as soon as possible. Some of the properties around us, you might have heard of Line 1 Metals, is to the west of us. They're in advanced exploration and starting to head towards development. To the east of us, 20 kilometers, is a very large copper gold porphyry project, joint venture with Newcrest out of Australia and Mitsubishi out of Japan. That property is estimated that's going to be either the 9th or 10th largest copper mine in the world. And that's just a mere 20 kilometers to the east of us. Next slide. This is just a fun slide. Just shows the Eco Challenge, which is on Prime Television. It shows that they went right around our properties. Next slide. Oh, There we go. Here's the Lewa Gold property. This is our flagship property that has, you know, the directors and shareholders really excited. This property has never been drilled. We've done all the groundwork, trenching, geophysics, IP, soil sampling, creek sampling, everything over the last 2 and 3 years. And to get to this point where we are now drilling, and as I said, we started drilling in late December. Very, very high grade gold and silver coming out of this property. And all indications are that we're onto something very, very large here. I can show you on the next slide, please, Seb. We've got here's some of the detailed, the sampling that followed the various creek beds, etc., and the various parts. Jensen is where we have our drill currently, where we started the first of what we anticipate being 3 or 4 holes at the Jensen showing. And again, we just got stopped because of cyclone and rainy season. As you can see, the rivers and creeks flowing through there used to be ankle deep, and now they're, you know, over 10 feet deep and quite wide and raging because of all the rain. So that's why we can't get back into that property at the moment. Next slide. All of the ground sampling, this is very significant, and when you have a chance, please go to our webpage and review this PowerPoint, and so you can fully understand this. All of the ground sampling where we had, and it shows it here at the top of each of these IP, where we sampled gold and silver, completely correlates to the IP where the hotspots on the anomalies are. So this is what has our geos and our whole management team very excited that we're on to something very significant in terms of potential for some very nice assay results, some very possibilities, some very high grade gold and silver, due to the fact that the ground sampling matches the IP almost to a T. So we can't wait to get going back in there, and this is what makes Thunderstruck a very, very good opportunity to participate in and become a shareholder in at the ground floor before we start drilling this very significant property. Our shareholders have been excited and waiting years for this to happen, and it's going to happen this summer. So a great opportunity for anyone who's looking for something in the gold space, ground floor exploration property in a significant mining district with large discoveries all around us, and now we're finally going to be drilling this. Next slide, please. Our second flagship property is a joint venture with JOGMEC out of Japan. It's called the Korukayu. This is a zinc copper VMS property. And this property was drilled in the 70s by Anglo Pacific. It has a historic resource and had some historic drilling done on it. We've increased the property in the last year with our partners. It was originally 30 square kilometers. It's now about 135 square kilometers, based on what the geos from JOGMEC and ourselves have discovered on the groundwork, etc. And we've got 15 kilometer strike length, and 8 of it has not even been explored or drilled yet. So another great opportunity for shareholders to take part of a very significant base metal copper zinc property. Next slide, please. A little bit on the history of the joint venture. Not much was spent in 2020 due to COVID. We're entering our 3rd year in 2021. We estimate the budget for 2021, which we're just finalizing now with our partners, is going to be somewhere between the $1.5 and $2 million. It will include further IP, groundwork, geophysical work, as well as drilling program in sort of the June-July timeframe. For those that don't know, JOGMEC is a department of the Japanese government. They go out and search for base metal projects on behalf of the government to find base metals for their own infrastructure. They are not mine developers. And that said, last year we brought in a mine developer out of Japan called Mitsui, multi-billion-dollar company that are working with JOGMEC to make the decision by basically this time next year at the end of the 3-year term to make a decision on development. All indications are that they're very excited, and that's one of the reasons why the property was increased from 30 to 135 square kilometers because of the indications that their geos found on the ground. Next slide, please. This was primarily some of our highlights of our 2019 program. We did not do much in 2020 due to COVID and the Japanese groups, JOGMEC and Mitsui, not being able to get in the country till very late in the year. But as you can see from our 2019 program, very high values of copper and zinc, along with some silver and gold credits as well. So a very, very significant property, and with 2 significant large multi-billion-dollar partners. Next slide, please. Again, the next couple of slides, Seb, we can go through relatively quick. These are just the IP surveys from Korukayu. And again, we'll be continuing that IP in the spring. There was IP done on a portion of the property in late December by the Mitsui Group, and we anticipate having those results in the next few weeks, definitely, but we're anticipating the next 2 to 3 anyone who's looking at both a gold silver exposure and base metal exposure. We have everything sort of covered under one umbrella with Thunderstruck. And we'll just keep sliding ahead, please, Seb. Yeah, so this is just this is an old, again, you can review this on our webpage. Here's where we really want to stop on this one here. This is a Rama copper gold porphyry property. This property was again drilled by Anglo in the 70s, but our group, our geos, late last year, we found a whole new zone that was actually a gold zone. You can see on the bottom bullet point where we had 50.55 gram ton over 38 meters in an outcrop on this property. This was never found by Anglo. Our geos found this. So this property has garnered a lot of interest for JV partners, and Bryce, the CEO, and myself are very in discussions, I'll say, on I have to be careful on this property for JV partners. There's a lot of interest, and we're basically following up this month and working through the short list of those interested. We anticipate having a JV on this property and getting back onto this property with our partner, very, very significant. And again, with the price of copper, et cetera, this is what's garnered the interest. And we're looking at some very large groups that are interested in this property. So again, a third sort of opportunity of a catalyst to be part of the growth of this of Thunderstruck. Next slide, please. Here's the IP, and you can see at the bottom where it says the Senecura zone. You can see the anomalies on the main property, and then this whole new gold zone to the south, which was discovered, and very, very exciting, and some significant hotspots on the geochemistry on the IP here. Next slide, please. Yeah, if we can just go, yeah, here's a great picture here of the IP. It shows you basically on the top, we've got sort of gold on the top and copper on the bottom, to put it in layman's terms. This is a porphyry system. It is deep. Our IP shows it stops at about 500 meters. This particular drill holes were down about 250 meters. We see the hotspot in the IP going all the way down to 500, and that's as far as the equipment goes. So there's again a significant opportunity that this is even there's more even deeper, but this gives you a great snapshot of how this property looks. Next slide, please. The last property is the Nakoro. This is very similar to Korokayu. This is another zinc copper VMS property. This property is also available for JV, although we have an agreement with our partners JOGMEC that they sort of have a right, I call it right of first refusal. If someone comes forward and puts a proposal to Thunderstruck, we have the obligation to take this to JOGMEC for them to decide if they now want to take this property or not. So a win-win for the company and a win-win for shareholders on this potential JV of this copper zinc VMS as well. Next slide, please. This is the team here, management team, Bryce Bradley. Unfortunately, something has come up in Fiji and couldn't join us today. Wilson is our CFO, who I mentioned is Fijian. Robert Phillips, our senior geologist. He is a Canadian, but was living in Australia when he joined us and headed over to Fiji. Myself. Moape is our country manager. He spent many years working for the MRD in Fiji and for Line 1. So he knows the country, knows the people very well, and very, very happy on board having him with us on Thunderstruck. Next slide, please. The board of directors, many of you will know Brian London from the New Orleans convention based out of New Orleans, also newsletter writer and part of Jefferson Financial. Bryce again, Lawrence director, Lawrence Ralston. Many of you should recognize that Lawrence has been around the industry for many, many years, and we're very happy to have him. Both he and Linnea are our sort of technical directors. They're both geologists and give us a lot of guidance and work with our geologists. And we've got advisors, a significant gentleman in the industry, Tuki Angus. Fantastic to have him on board. Gives us a lot of guidance. He is chairman of K92 Mining in Papua New Guinea, just a sort of we say a stone's throw from us in Fiji. And he's very prominent guy in the industry. Very happy to have him. So that's sort of Thunderstruck in a nutshell. On the last slide is my contact information. I'm very happy to speak on the phone or answer emails from any interested people, shareholders, questions. I'm available basically night and day. I'll get back to you pretty promptly. I'm happy to. I love the story. I've been a shareholder myself for many, many years, and I'm looking forward to having this our market cap increase and having some significant new catalysts to keep all of us shareholders and the company take us to the next level. Thank you so much.
Rob, what I'll do quickly here, since we have a little bit of time left, is I'll get at some questions from the line. So one, maybe you can answer pretty quickly here. You mentioned 2020 drilling was delayed due to COVID. Do you expect the same if the COVID conditions continue in 2021?
No, the thing, what I'll quickly discuss about COVID in Fiji, the reason the delay for us getting in was the paperwork to get our exemptions for our management team. So Bryce, Robert Argio, our driller, all were coming from out of the country. And that took a lot of paperwork with immigration. They have a special committee for people. You have to have a reason to come into the country. There is no COVID in Fiji right now. There was very little even a year ago, a couple of cases. And so they really lock down the country. They're able to because it's an island. And so anyone coming in first had to have a very significant reason and then go through a very strict quarantine period. So now that our team is on the ground, everyone else part of our team is local. They're in Fiji. So there's no concern about COVID now. Once you're in Fiji and out of quarantine, people walk around freely. Shops are open. There's no masks. There's no social distancing. So it's business as usual. And so this year, now that we've gone through that whole process and everyone's in the country, this year, 2021 is the go year. This is it now. We're going to come out of the gate in the dry season flying. 2 drill programs going. Our teams are there. Everything is ready. We're doing all the preliminary work now.
Well, maybe I'll just end with a comment there. I mean, it seems every junior has been funded and has done their initial drill programs this year. And obviously, you guys having to get into Fiji and them having 0 cases, you have not been able to do your drill program due to the rainy season just yet. So your funding to drill your initial program still allows a really nice low entry level for new investors into Thunderstruck. I don't think there's many companies that haven't moved on the ability to start drilling, and I'm sure you'll be the same when that day comes. So thank you very much, Rob, for your time, and thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you, Seb, and thank you everyone for listening. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.